So, 5 to 10 years after graduating from Palmer University, the school would see me starting to develop a revolutionary type of healthcare. My goal is really to create a practice where I can couple all facets of health from chiropractic, obviously, to nutrition and helping people determine how to fuel their bodies, as well as fitness and helping people to really address all facets of health so that they can become the best versions of themselves. And then a situation where I was a minority, um, what comes to mind is when I got my CrossFit certification to become a coach. I was 16 and that was the minimum age you had to be, and I remember walking in and it was a couple hundred people and they were all much older than me, a lot of them already in the fitness industry, had a lot more experience than me. And I was immediately intimidated because they're all older and they know so much more than me. And what were they going to think of me, just a 16-year-old who hasn't even graduated high school yet, trying to get the same certification as them? And what I really had to realize was age is just a number. And I am so passionate about health and CrossFit specifically in this case, and I was not going to let anyone take that away from me. And I just realized how much more important that was than worrying what people would think of me. And I knew that I had prepared for the tests, I had studied, we were all here to do the same thing. So ultimately, I just put the age thing, the experience thing in the back of my mind, and I ended up having an extremely positive experience from it. I ended up building relationships with some of the other participants and also learning a lot from them since they did have more experience than me and they were older. And then an experience where I had to work with someone with a different background than me. I remember I had a project one time where we had to find someone with completely polar opposite views as us, and we had to enter into a debate with them. And the person I chose was over twice my age and very highly educated, and her views were much, much different than mine. And I was initially terrified to even initiate any contact because I didn't know how it was going to go. I was scared of confrontation, and I wanted to also be respectful of her. And so definitely our first few interactions were very timid, but later as it went on, I got more comfortable and I realized that I could actually learn from her, and it wasn't so much about proving that I was right in the debate as it was just expressing my ideas and letting her express hers. And at the end of it, it was probably one of my favorite projects ever, and I absolutely loved it, in building that relationship and getting to know her on a deeper level and learn from her views and also be able to express mine. So I want to go to Palmer because for one, it was the first chiropractic school in the U.S., and so it's had a long-standing program. It's built its program beautifully over the past years, and I really love their mission and their goal to help others and to spread medicine and health, but also doing so in a kind of revolutionary way. And I love that their whole thing is about addressing the problem and the root issue instead of just treating the symptoms. and that has really drawn me to them. Also, the Palmer campus in Florida has a focus on exercise science, or sports medicine, which I'm very interested in. And the Palmer West campus has a focus on pediatrics and pregnancy, which I'm also very interested in. So I love that there's those two options, and I just love the idea of specializing in that, and especially if I'm considering opening up a practice that pairs nutrition and fitness, being specialized in sports chiropractic is extremely important. And then also, because this was the first chiropractic school, it has a lot of incredible professors that I would love to learn from, who have a lot of experience, as well as it's a lot bigger than some of the other schools, and it would allow me to build relationships with other people who have the same goals as me and who are trying to revolutionize healthcare. Palmer should accept me because, first and foremost, I'm extremely hardworking, and I think that's evident from my transcript, as well as just the fact that I have a full-time job. I have 2 jobs and juggle being a full-time student at the same time. And I've demonstrated an interest in healthcare for many, many years, whether that be in the fitness industry or in nutrition, now that I have a nutrition certification. And so I'm definitely not going anywhere, and I continue to want to grow in the healthcare field. My greatest success so far, I would have to say, is I used to have an eating disorder starting in middle school and going into part of high school. And the problem with eating disorders is it is a mental illness. And the difference between that and a lot of other mental illnesses is there's no medication to help you with the mental imbalance. So it is completely up to you to overcome that and to train your mind to think completely differently. You have to be extremely vulnerable and ask for a lot of help, and see a lot of people who are willing to help you, even though you don't necessarily want to get their help. And so it took a lot of work, and it was extremely hard because I truly believed that starving myself was the right thing to do. But I completely rewired my mind, and that's kind of when I got interested into health fields, and I started studying nutrition, anything that I could get my hands on, and I learned what it looks like to properly fuel your body and to care for your body. And then that's when I got into CrossFit, and I started learning what it was like to take care of your body and to build your body so that you could enjoy life. When I had an eating disorder, I was so tired. I broke bones. I couldn't do anything. And so once I kind of got into CrossFit, I started realizing how beautiful it is to be strong, and I completely changed trajectories and started wanting to put on muscle and to fuel my body. And from there, with this kind of newfound knowledge that I had on nutrition and health, I wanted to help other people, because there are so many social stigmas on what it looks like to be healthy, and people just shut down when they hear, oh, you need to do this to be healthy, or you need to do this, and it looks so hard, and it's really not. And I'm just so passionate about helping people overcome all their ideas about what health looks like, and helping people to realize that being healthy just improves your life so much and improves the lives of the people who are around you. If I could be any tree, I would be a live oak, because so the thing with live oaks is that they never die throughout the seasons like other trees. Not the other trees don't die, but they lose their leaves, they become dormant. Live oaks never do. They are working throughout 4 seasons, and it doesn't matter if you have a scorching hot summer or an extremely cold, snowy winter. They stay steady and exactly the same, and they provide shelter to animals and insects and nutrients to the soil. Their roots grow extremely deep. They're thick and they're strong, and they don't move in huge storms, and they're definitely not going anywhere.